welcome to my video. Today we'll be building a pallet wood outdoor bench, very similar to the one that I'd done previously. And if you want to go and have a look at that video, I'll put a link up in the top corner there. But what you can see here is the finished product of that first bench. My first design, my first attempt. It is a bit wonky, but it was really something that I really enjoyed doing. And when a friend of mine saw it, she actually wanted one for herself. So she asked whether she would, whether I could build her an outdoor bench as well. So I took some pallets and I started to dismantle them. And what I can say about South African pallets is that they are very, very well made. You know, they were a struggle to try and get them undone and get the nails out. Particularly the nails that they use are really large with kind of ridges on them, so they really stick in the wood very well. So it's very difficult to try and get those pallets apart. But with a bit of elbow grease and some, well, a few weeks to try and get them apart, I eventually got some usable planks from the pallet wood. Right, so having dismantled the pallet wood, I got some lovely planks. I made the base, the seat of the bench, very, very similar to what I did in the previous video. You can see the bench there in the background. And if you'd like to go and have a look at that video and see how that was done, go and have a look at that previous video. The big change to the design for this one was that I was going to add arms. And so having never done this before, I really kind of had to picture it in my mind. What, you know, where would the weight be? What sort of support would a bench arm need, and how would it be attached to the frame in such a way that if there was any kind of weight on it, you know, if anyone was leaning on it, how would it fare up? So I came up with an idea to screw the arm itself to the back of the chair and then have the support connected with dowels on the actual arm. So basically this was me trying to figure it out as I go along, learning by doing, you know, and it was a really fun experience to try and kind of think in terms of physics, in terms of, you know, where would the weight distribution be, how much strain would go onto the screws if I put them in one way or another. And I think the design that I came up with was, although a little bit, you know, skew on both sides, I think the actual sort of strength of it turned out to be really good. Again, this is something I'd never done before. This is a design that I came up with. I have never done doweling before, so it was a brand new experience for me to try and figure out the best way to attach a, an arm to its supports and for it to not tear out of the wood, with any weight on it. So I started out with drilling the supports into the frame of well, at least the arm into the frame of the bench, and then started to make the holes for the dowels. Of course, the dowels that I had were too big for the drill bits that I have, so I tried to kind of um, basically, I want to say, make a dowel on the fly. So I drilled a hole, and then however deep that hole was, I put a dowel stick in and cut it off at sort of, what do you call it? Like the same height for both of them. Gave them a bit of a file just to let the glue have something to stick to, and used cold glue, so just a normal kind of PVA wood glue to stick those on. Having then put the glue on, I reattached the arm to the frame and then clamped that dowel section. And that I left overnight, and really it was quite a strong connection. I was quite surprised. And because of the rigidity of the arm and the support onto the frame, the actual dowel area doesn't have a lot of stress, so it doesn't really need to be entirely uh, screwed in. And I thought it looked nice. There wouldn't be any screw holes and things in the arms, and I would then have the, I don't know, the aesthetic of having um, a flat arm, if you will. Here you can see my drilling is not quite right. The first screw went in a little bit skew, but that's how it goes when you're making things up on the on the fly. So yeah, first time building arms, and I was quite pleased with the results of it. The wood that I ended up using for the arms were a little bit wider than the struts, and so it got a lovely grain pattern to it, and you could really see the grain pattern really nicely. So yeah, that was my first time ever building building arms on a chair, and I was quite pleased that it turned out as well as it did. Okay, so the legs were very similar to what I'd done with the first bench. I just measured out where they were going to sit, found where the four holes were going to be for the screws, and then just proceeded to screw in the screws. And those particular legs are, because of the four screws, quite strong. And what I then did was to put a strut between the two front legs and a strut between the two back legs, just so that there was some kind of stability and it wouldn't wobble as much. And I found that with the first bench, when I didn't put the struts in, it was very wobbly. So and putting these here, you can see me sanding the struts between the legs, and that really gives a stability to the bench, which was quite needed, I think. So yeah, working with pallet wood, you've got to sand it and sand it and sand it some more and keep sanding it, and you got to just keep going, keep sanding. So it was about 5 or 6 passes for each plank to actually get it nice and smooth, to get all of the stains off. To these planks are really rough. They're not actually sanded before they are made into pallets, so you get this very rough finish. which I just wanted to smooth down so that the finish could actually seal the wood really nicely and make it look good.
The inspection, is it up to scratch? Hmm? Is it up to scratch, Mamma? Is it looking good? Hmm? Well, it's good for sitting. That is indeed what it is designed for. Yeah. Is it looking good?
So a while back, my friend had actually gifted me a set of carving tools, which you can see I'm using here, and I thought it would be a very nice sort of gesture to use those tools for creating a decal. Basically, it's my channel's logo with the lotus, and yeah, the carving was, one of the first times I'd used the set, and it was a learning experience, of course. I had tried burning it with wood burning tools before, but it didn't come out looking at all good. Wood burning on pine seems to be very tough. So I went with the carving route and I just carved where I had burned the image. And, the decal was quite simple, so it was quite a quick and easy kind of carving. And yeah, I really enjoyed this process as well. This was really fun for me to try out something new and a different skill that I hadn't tried out before. So this bench turned out to be a whole lot of firsts, a whole lot of things I'd never done before, which is what I absolutely love about woodworking. These are, different tools and different things that you can start to uh, try out. Now, because this is an outdoor bench, I went with a polywax sealer, knowing that it would have some rain on it or some moisture, in the air. But I also didn't want anything that was liable to crack, so something like a lacquer or something like this. So I went with a polywax finish, and she had requested a dark color for the bench, which I thought came out really nicely. The emboyer stain really brought out the grain pattern of the pine, and I'm very pleased with the color that it came out as. This particular stain I put into the polywax sealer on the first coat, and then I did 3 more coats with the polywax sealer without the stain, so it kind of gave it a glassy kind of finish with the stain underneath. And yeah, you can see the stain really brings out that grain. It's really lovely.